Hey, what up, everybody? This is D. That would be my boy.
I am Kip. Well, today I'm ravishing Kip Rude.
A repeat.
Ravishing.
And you have joined the Scholar and the Sinner show.
You know you like it.
I'm not really a fan.
Ravishing.
You know what's ravishing is that eye piercing, though. That's
is.
really special.
It is. I'm special. Special Kip. That's what they call me.
Like Little Yellow Bus special?
No, man. Like 1 in a million special. God, so negative. So negative. D needs a hug, you guys.
That what your mama told you?
D needs a hug.
Honey, you're 1 in a million.
Yes.
Hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying the holiday season. I won't say Merry Christmas, even though I did just say it, because everybody might celebrate something different.
True.
So
happy holidays.
I'll
say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, whatever pagan holiday you might be a part of this season, enjoy it.
True.
Did you get all your shopping done?
Yes. Shopping. You get all your shopping done?
Yeah, Amazon full.
Yeah, man.
I hate the fact that I did that, though.
No, I don't. They
Why?
bring that shit right to the house.
No, fuck that. Jeff Bezos can suck it.
Jeff Bezos is the man.
No, he's not the man.
Fuck that.
That dude's paid zero in taxes. He made like $11 billion.
Look, man, you gonna wait in line and fight for parking and fuck that. Bring that shit to the house.
Jeff Bezos owes us money.
Maybe.
No, he fucking owes us money.
Because he doesn't pay his taxes.
No, well, it's not that he does. He's not avoiding paying them. Mm-hmm. The way the tax laws are set up and the way his company is set up, that he's able to circumvent and navigate the system to where he doesn't have to pay the $3 billion a year in taxes. So the question
is circumventing and navigating the system, isn't that not smart business?
That's amazingly smart business.
Alrighty then.
But it's still a shit show.
Oh, of course. Okay, but it's a shit show that benefits him.
Just because you get away with murder doesn't mean you should murder.
Why not?
Really?
If you can get away with the shit. Okay, right.
Really?
I mean, it's not a crime unless I get caught, right?
Which one of us is religious again?
I'm just saying.
Thou shalt not. What? How's that go?
Thou shalt not get caught. That's what it say in the hood.
Oh fuck! See, I thought that commandment was thou shalt not kill.
Hey.
I guess I was wrong.
Hey.
Thou shalt not get the fuck caught.
Moral relativism. That's the term.
I think you just made that shit up.
I absolutely did not. Moral relativism. Absolutely.
And what does that mean?
It means,
scholar of ours.
It just means that whatever's right for you at the moment is right at the moment. It's like, as long as I can get, if you want me to make it simple, it's whatever
I feel like I should be running this red light right now because it feels right. It doesn't make it right.
No, moral relativism. It's just morally relative to me, not to anyone else. It's like selfish. Yeah.
Which is wrong.
True.
As per the Bible.
As per the Bible. The Bible's not about being selfish.
Do you follow everything that's in the Bible?
No. I
don't. You just kind of pick and choose?
I don't pick and choose either.
Is it like a multiple choice kind of story?
No, I don't believe that either. I think that there are things that are flawed because the Council of Nicaea careened the books and put them together. So realistically, I think there's
it's not really an original.
There are better ways or other alternative ways to get closer to God besides just reading the text. But the text is the foundation. The book is the foundation.
So the Bible's not really an original.
No, it's not an original text. No, not at all. Not the King James Bible, not the one that you got at Romans.
That would be the New Testament.
Yeah, New Testament, Old Testament, all that shit is not new.
I know that. I'm just setting it up.
Yeah, no. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
You can't say Merry Christmas.
I'm just saying, we just said all that Bible shit. I can't say Merry Christmas.
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Because then you're negating everybody else's religious freedoms.
Kwanzaa. Happy, whatever the fuck you worship, happy. Just enjoy yourself. That's what you said, right?
And you use profanity to elicit happiness in the holidays?
Profane.
Wow, who's the Grinch now, buddy?
Please define profanity, please.
You, in essence.
In essence, I'm profane. That hurt.
Not profound.
Profound and profane.
Profane.
I can be both.
Because you're ravishing Kip Rude.
Ravishing. You got to say it right. You got to make that face too. Ravishing.
Oh my gosh, you're terrible. We never get through like an intro that's just a super clean one-off intro.
Of course not.
No, because I think both of our ADHD kicks in.
Absolutely.
And I am not on Ritalin right now, so.
Ritalin. It's delicious.
I like it when they flavor it personally.
Yeah. Cherry flavored Ritalin. Yeah, let's get it.
Scissor. So there's not really a good segue to get into what our main topic is today.
No, I mean we can't go.
I'll let the black guy do it though.
Well, you and I were having a conversation about the police and the job of the police and their, how they maneuver or navigate through communities and the perception of what the job entails.
Oh, as it pertains to being dangerous.
As it pertains to being dangerous on both sides, from the citizen,
imminent threat and things like that.
Right, and why the job is so threatening, and if we actually think from the perspective of the police officer,
right.
what does it entail to clock in every day and clock out to go home every day, and the dangers that come along with it.
Do you know how long it takes to become a police officer as far as in joining the academy?
No, how long does it take to become a police officer?
I think the typical time is between 6 to 8 months.
What?
Typical time.
So that means
that's different in every county, or I think every municipal. But I am going to double check that. But I believe it's 6 to 8 months.
Right, and we're talking about like major metropolitan areas. We're not talking about the small towns, and because you and I don't live in a small town, and I haven't spent very much time in a small town. Well, I did spend some time in the South, North Carolina, Fayetteville, college. But when we're talking about the police, we're talking about them interacting in these large areas. And one of the issues is that most of them don't live in the area that they police.
True.
That is my biggest contention.
Right. About 26 weeks.
26
Well, in California, it's approximately 26 weeks.
26 weeks?
Yeah.
Good.
It takes longer to get your esthetician license.
Oh, so you can pop pimples quicker? Or you can pop pimples longer?
Yeah, it takes longer to do somebody's nails and to do facials. Shut up. Do facials.
He said facial. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Than it does to learn a relative letter of the law in regards to your basics for the police academy.
You're telling me that it takes longer to get like a cosmetology certification than it does for me to get a weapon and a gun,
the
and
ability
a shield
to arrest people,
and a Batman utility belt, and fucking a car and a dog and all the other wonderful shit, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
That's awesome. Well, I think when we're talking about the actual police officers themselves, there's a huge gap because you cannot learn how to be, let's say, a public figure in 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Like, you can't learn to be a part of a community, especially if it's a community that you're not from, especially if it's a community that you don't live in.
Here's the reason why this came up. It came up because, like everybody, we get all of our news from Facebook. That must be the truth because it's on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook.
Anyway, don't shoot holes in my fucking setup, dude. That's not cool.
Go on, Sutra, set it up.
Fucked up, man. Trying to sink my boat before it sails.
Hey, man, hey. Get the sailing.
Anyway. I am the captain now. But so we were talking, and I had noticed there were some threads and things of that nature on social media, not just Facebook, but on other avenues as well, that a lot of police seem to be tired of being the center of objection for general society, as far as, you guys are the problem, and they're tired of being persecuted on the whole for the actions of, admittedly, the few.
Right, that's true. That's true.
And I say they as a very general term, right? But those officers and heads of those police departments were talking in terms of, we know who you are that's posting these negative things about, killing cops and, if you come after me kind of activities. We know who you are. We're watching you, and we're not going to take the abuse. And this is a very dangerous job. And these guys put their lives on the line daily.
Yeah.
And it kind of got me thinking, and Kip and I have talked about it on a few different occasions. Is it really that dangerous?
I think it can be.
I think there's some inherent danger, but is it really that dangerous on a day-to-day basis?
I think it all depends on where you are. Like, let's just be honest here, right? If we're talking about, policing in an area, the danger lies in the area that they're policing. There's a big difference between police in San Marino, California.
Yeah.
Or, versus, or Arcadia, California versus, the south sides of Los Angeles or Watts, or like places where poverty ensues and it's really intense. Or even if we're not even talking about even Skid Row, there are places in Los Angeles where the police just don't go. They're like, we're not just fucking around. We're not going over there. Yeah. Skid Row is ridiculous.
So some of the stats that about police deaths in the line of duty from 1970 to 1980, the deaths of police officers in the line of duty duty or in relation to duty averaged about 230 a year.
Right.
80 to 89 was 190. 1990 to 99 was 161. 2000 to 2009. These are obviously every decade or so.
Right.
165 and up to 2014, which is not 100% current right now, admittedly, is about 113.
Right. So what you're noting is that the stats of death are going down. They're decreasing. Less police are dying in the line of duty as a result of them doing their job.
Now, one thing that they don't differentiate on a lot of the number polls that you see out there are in the line of duty does not mean aggravated activities.
Oh.
It doesn't mean that they were shot in an exchange with a suspect / criminal or things of that. I don't think they're also including vehicular accidents or things of that nature, those type of deaths. I think they're just overall.
See, I think that there's a presupposition that we're only talking about death here when we talked about the danger of the job of being a police officer.
Right.
Because in 2020, 2019, the court of public opinion is all powerful. People have like weaponized their opinions. And now with, social media and our ability to communicate, you can talk whatever shit you want about whoever. And I think that when we're talking about danger, it's not only about dying, because scrutiny in and of itself will cause someone to react and respond in a way, because our police officers are scrutinized on a very, very high level. Now, it's kind of a give and take, right? Because when we're talking about police being scrutinized, what about the communities, the individuals that are being stopped, the individuals that the police are interacting with are being scrutinized? Like, let's take me, for example. Right?
Okay.
I'm a very handsome, educated, young black male, right?
Well, I don't know about young, but...
Yeah, well... Thank you, asshole.
And handsome is relative.
Handsome. My mama said I'm handsome, so I'm handsome. Okay, that's what counts.
Your mama also said you were special, and that you were her favorite son.
I'm glad you agree. Oh, damn it. Well, back to my point.
Never mind that you're her only son.
I'm
just throwing it out there.
When I get pulled over by the police officer, right, he doesn't see a college-educated individual with a master's degree your child could be in my classroom. He doesn't see that at all.
He sees a black man with dreads
a black dude
on a truck on 24s.
26s, man. Why don't you try to take some inches away from me, man?
Because black makes things look smaller.
All right. So the point that I'm making here is like even the last interaction, like I'm on my bike and we have this thing about stopping for cops.
We don't.
Like, no, I'm not stopping.
I do now.
You do now?
I'm on a Harley, dog.
No, I'm not stopping. There ain't no plane on my bike. Fuck them.
I can't get away no more.
There's rules to this shit. But the reason why I don't stop is because I don't want that aggression. 9 times out of 10, like the last time I stopped, the cop walks up on me. I'm on my bike. Right? It's like 3:00 in the morning. I'm tired. I didn't run away, but I pulled over like a good citizen should.
Right.
Now this cop is all of 5'4".
So he freaked the fuck out.
He freaked all the way the fuck out, right?
Right.
Now I'm yes sirring and no sirring, like I'm being as polite as possible.
Right.
And this dude's got his hand on his gun and he's screaming at me. I'm like, this is so unprofessional. Like, if you're gonna give me a ticket, give me a fucking ticket. But I don't need all the expletives and all the other shit that goes along with it.
The irony is, as soon as they put their hand on their gun, that's called brandishing.
Yeah, right.
Which means you're creating a forceful environment.
Absolutely.
By the use of a weapon of death.
But at that moment, what I was thinking is that this cop looks at me and he's already stereotyped me. Why? Because he wants to go home to his family.
Sure.
Right? He's looking like this man can hurt me. He can do some grave bodily injury. He's scrutinizing me in the same way that I would scrutinize him as being a police officer.
Right.
And I think that the police don't get enough credit for how they attempt to mitigate the problem. Like there's a lot of social outreaches, and especially in Los Angeles, right? The LAPD does a lot inside the community, but they get no credit. Zero credit for the things that they do outside of the requirements of the jobs of just stopping the crime and keeping people safe. They do other things like youth programs. There's a program at my school where the police, there are 2 officers, they come and pick up a kid and they humanize themselves to this child. So when the child goes back to his neighborhood, that's not just cop A, that's Officer Johnson, who's actually a cool guy. To me, those things get kind of brushed over because the actions of the few far overshine or the actions of the many. Well,
yeah, because the actions of a few are the ones that get publicized.
Right.
And then it seems that it goes backwards, that then when there's cops who are doing good things, they're like, oh, right, so now we're going to showcase the cops that are doing good things to kind of offset the ones that are doing bad things.
Right, but we're talking about which narrative is actually true, right? Like which narrative is actually more important? Because like if we think about this, right?
Yeah.
That one of the statistics says that 1 out of 1,000 black males will be killed by the police. 1 out of 1,000.
That's a lot.
Listen, if that was a white statistic, it would be a national epidemic. If it was 1 out of 1,000 white males that were killed by the police, it would be a national fucking crisis. 1 out of 1,000 motherfuckers that look just like me are gonna get killed by the police. That's like the Staples Center has 20,000 seats. 2,000 of those motherfuckers, they all black, only killed by the cops. What? Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the statistic is really high. Another statistic that I saw was on-duty police officer deaths did increase in 2018, but in 2007, they have two different versions, right? One is feloniously killed. Okay.
Feloniously? How do you feloniously die?
Well, I mean, they're probably pursuing a felon or something like that.
Okay, sorry.
And then accidental deaths.
Like they shot themselves?
Well,
they slipped on a banana
they might
peel.
not have died from a gunshot. They might have died from a car accident or
Slipped on a banana peel.
Slipped on a banana peel,
Yeah.
had too many donuts, something like that. But not to make light of it. So in 2007, there was a total of 141 deaths. 58 were accidental and 83 were of a felony nature. Then you fast forward, there's a whole bunch of years in between. But 141 total was the highest. But 2018 was down to 106.
Right.
They did have some spikes here and there, but nothing over 141. Now, in 07, they had 58 accidental, and they had 55 accidental in 18, and they had 83 of a felony nature and 51 of a felony nature in 18. So I think overall the numbers are trending downwards.
The numbers are trending downwards.
My problem is, my issue is, excuse me, not that the job doesn't have its perils.
Right.
It's that I think that in some cases, the way that these officers seem to be brought up is that you're going to die every day.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you constantly protect and overprotect.
Right.
And if that means you make somebody else excessively uncomfortable and put them in a compromising position in order to protect yourself, you're within reason.
Right.
Now, part of the problem with this mindset is, I think, like what you were saying before, is it creates a huge wedge and dehumanizes the person who is a potential suspect. Right.
And I think what we're also speaking to is like the size of the area that the police officer is policing. Like there is a contentious relationship between, let's say, black people and the authoritative policing body that is there. That is historic, right? So what we're talking about here is a police officer that lives in A but works in B, right? Because even in North Carolina, I have to go back to North Carolina because Fayetteville is a lot smaller than Los Angeles. The police officers the deputies, and they often park their cars in their front of their houses, right? So now this police officer is at the PTA meetings. He's at the
He knows he's got his thumb on the heartbeat of the community.
So when little JoJo X is acting up, when he sees that child, he can refer to that child. It's not just some random angry stranger at this point. And the child doesn't not recognize the police officer also. That doesn't happen in Los Angeles when you get people that commute for 45 minutes into South LA, because now this authoritative figure is merely just someone there to kind of keep you in that impoverished area where
an overseer mentality.
Thank you for helping me. I was struggling.
I
was
got
real.
you.
Right. Because if we look at some of the deaths.
For that. Yes. Overseer, officer.
Yeah, officer, overseer. I was like, hold on, white man. Overseer is kind of a touchy subject between you and I. I'm just saying.
I make the rules. Let's play by.
I'm just saying. But if we look at all the deaths that took place, because what was it, 3 summers ago, it was like every time you turn on the TV, there was a black person getting shot by the cops. Like, son, what is going on? Like, we talk about Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Oscar Grant, Eric Garner. These individuals are all under 30 years old. Right. And these individuals were all died brutally by the hands of a stranger, of a police officer that had no idea who this individual was. Like if we're talking about Eric Garner, who was choked to death for selling cigarettes, right? If the police officer was, had a relationship, he can be like, Eric, man, what the fuck are you doing, man? You can't do that shit, man. Go home. Eric sees the police officer, there's a relationship there, and then the relationship becomes different. Think about it like this. If you have to be an authority over someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to be authority over someone you know. It's like if your child is acting up, you can tell your child to chill the fuck out. But if there's some random kid running around in Walmart knocking shit over, the communication is different. The communication to that child is a lot different.
I agree with you. I think a lot of it has to do with the difference between policing and law enforcement. And, and I've said this many, many times. I think that the police officers' initial thought process, at least as a general, those guys and girls really do, I think for the most part, want to help a community and want to be part of the solution and not the problem.
Right.
But I think that these days especially, they get so inundated with law enforcement.
True.
What laws are you breaking?
Right.
You know, I think was said people break an average of about 15 to 20 laws a day.
True.
As a general, lane changes, traffic, infractions, things like that. And you have no idea.
Right.
Right. And so I think that a lot of times these days people get caught up in law enforcement and not the person as to what's going on.
Right. Because now that person is now an offender and not a person. Right. And so there's something else that's really interesting, right? Because there is a generational gap in how people communicate with each other, right? Yeah. Like, for example, I'm a Gen Xer, right? Raised in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? It's a very important point because a lot of us were raised with a VCR and locked in a room, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the millennials who get a lot of hate, were a huge part of them were raised with the internet, but as the internet grew, they grew, right? So, but I don't actually think the millennial is the one that's really going to be the issue. It's the Gen Z, the next one. These are the kids that grew up without a smartphone. Now, let's translate this into police, right? So you have this 30-year-old police officer, right, who's interpersonal skills have deteriorated because society, socially, his generation, that group of people that grew up in that time period did not gain the social skills because they had other things to focus on. Now I'm wondering why this police officer, who is a servant, does not necessarily serve me, even though I'm an offender. He still has to have a measure of servitude, but he doesn't have the interpersonal skills to communicate with me. Right. What I'm saying here is someone that doesn't necessarily have common courtesy, right? Like, well, I think cop is still a fucking servant at the end of the day.
Once they have once they've committed to you being some sort of an offender, as you put it, right? Then all that seems to go out the window. You don't deserve their respect anymore. They don't have to be nice to you. Right. You're an offender.
Yeah, but how often is it that...
I don't mean that should be. I'm just saying that seems to be the mentality.
So how often is it that, the young cop is the asshole, but the older, more seasoned cop is the more...
Of course.
Yeah, he's the one, even, you're wrong, you fucked up, but the older cop speaks to you a different way. He's not trying to agitate. And
he's also not trying to assert his dominance.
He's not. And what ends up happening is that some of these police officers clock in with a survival mentality, like, I have to make it home.
Right.
But if you lived in that community, you are fucking home. It's like you're cleaning your house. It's not like you're cleaning someone else's house and then you're going home. Like, that to me is a huge problem.
Well, I think, and I've felt this way for a long time, I think that there's a way we could potentially fix it. And I think it's the same way we fix education.
Okay.
I think you thicken the pool of pickings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the way you do that is you make some of these positions the most highly paid positions possible.
Because police officers don't make enough money. I mean, we're talking about
more than the median. The general median across the country is about $65,000, which in LA, albeit, is not very much money. No, but across the country,
60 G's in LA is nothing. If you got 60 G's in Nebraska, you probably balling.
You might be okay, and that's starting. That doesn't mean I know many cops that I know and have trained over the years make around 100,000. Okay, and at the same time, where that median might be 65, the general population median is more like 35 to 40.
Right.
So they are in an upswing. But what I noticed is, what if we had people who were part of the police force and education?
Okay.
And we really incentivize, right? Like, I'm talking like $150,000 starting.
Right.
You can make their study time longer, more intensive.
Absolutely.
You can pick and choose who you want because there'll be more candidates for you
right?
to
The
choose
pool will
from,
be deeper to pull from.
Right. That's what we do with our athletes.
Absolutely.
Every athlete is trying to get a multi-million-dollar
and
contract.
They get vetted, deeply vetted,
Absolutely,
right? Yeah.
People are looking for every flaw that they have. They're not looking for what's right with those people.
They're looking for what's wrong with those people.
Exactly. So if you could apply that same mentality to picking these people who essentially are in some ways responsible for people's lives and well-being.
And it would raise the desire to have that job. Right. It wouldn't just be a job, well, I just barely got my ass out of high school, so I might as well just become a police officer.
Or the general consensus of, I want to be a badass.
Right. It's interesting because your interaction with the police and my interaction with the police are two completely different things.
It's very different.
Two completely different things.
And at times,
it's very the same. I get it.
Identical, but very different as well.
Right.
Too.
Because in today's reality, like, remember I had that thing at the club where the cop was being a dick. And Wes, one of our friends, one of our brothers, white guy. Wes is white. He's got red hair.
Red beard white.
Red beard and blue. Love Wes to death. But Wes is overprotective, and the cop was touching me. He was tapping me, and then Wes started cussing out the police officer, like, you touch him again, you better not fucking do this. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to jail tonight. I was like, because me and Wes are going to beat up this cop. Right. Here's the point, right? I think that inside of, like, the black psyche is an apprehension that's ingrained. Right. When it comes to interacting with the police, right? Like, for example, I remember being taught to yes, sir, and no, sir, the authority, because it's not the fact that it's not even respect, it's fear. It's this is to protect me, to make sure that I don't move suddenly. Like, it's like I move too fast, I'm resisting. I don't move fast enough, I'm not following directions, right? If I don't hear him, then I'm also resisting. It's like everything has some type of negative. I don't necessarily get the benefit of the doubt because I fit the description, right? Like, realistically, that interaction for me is a lot different for you.
I think when you have to police by straight brute force, you're fighting an uphill battle.
Well, yeah, right.
Your brute force is a firearm.
True.
You can't kind of shoot somebody. You don't just.
That's a great point.
Shoot him 50%.
Yeah, the kind of shot his ass.
You know what I mean? And so as soon as they go for that gun, and they can be like, I'm fearing for my safety, and it's like, well, what the hell am I?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm wondering at what point in time when one of these officers who end up. I've had it happen in my neighborhood where they've been looking for somebody that's escaped into the neighborhood, right? And I live in a very quiet neighborhood, but it's adjacent to some hardheads.
Okay.
And so they want to escape into the quiet neighborhood and hide.
One of your houses.
Shut up. And so they have been in my yard. Now my whole front is gated off. So in my opinion, if you're on my property, you trespassing.
Yeah.
And I stay strapped. And legally. Yeah. And so I'm not going to ask who's there.
Yeah, because
if
it's your property.
If you're in my backyard at 2:00 in the morning looking in my windows, we got problems.
Yeah.
So how am I going to get out of accidentally shooting a cop that was looking in my windows?
Yeah, that's an interesting story you tell, because I can't remember the kid's name, but he was in Oakland. And I think he was breaking windows. He did something that was not a death-worthy trespass, but he was standing in his grandmother's backyard.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, and then he got utterly perforated with bullets. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't like one or two.
A fucking cell phone, right? It wasn't like one or two. And I think that that perspective of you is like, yo, I'm protecting my space. This child ran. I say child because I think he was only 18 years old. Like, he ran to a space where he thought that it was protected. Yeah, he was doing some dumb shit, but at the end of the day, the fear of the police officer, of who they were chasing and what neighborhood they were chasing, it overflowed into the action that they should take. Because when we're talking about these, what we're really talking about is fear on the hand of the police officers themselves, and fear on the hand of the people that they are policing.
Sure.
Because it's not just a black problem, it's a brown problem too. So
I truly believe, and this is obviously putting the black problem aside, I truly believe that cops see one color: blue.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, what the fuck are you talking about?
They see blue. And
that was a curveball.
And if you're not wearing blue, you are not on their team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, I might be a little less threatening than you when they're pursuing a suspect.
And this is the trained fighter with all the fucking tattoos and the Harley Davidson, and
I should be more
and the
under
multiple
control.
Firearms, and I'm the guy that grades papers for a fucking living.
I only carry one knife on me.
Yeah, I don't have my knife.
Oh, there you go. All right then. You know what jobs are a lot more dangerous?
Are
underwater welder.
Shit.
Yeah, like dead serious. It's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
I've never heard of an underwater welder shooting a black person though.
No, but they do shock themselves and then end up drowning. And things like that. Fishermen, especially like the deep sea fishermen, like off of Maine, and what the hell was that show?
Not a black job.
Deadliest Catch.
You never see black people on Deadliest Catch.
I don't think I have either.
No, you don't, because we ain't doing that shit.
Loggers.
Black people not doing that shit either.
No, but you wear the hell out of some Timberlands though.
Yes, I will. Let's go through these jobs. I'll tell you if black people are doing
number 4, microchip manufacturer. I don't know, dude.
How is that fucking dangerous? How?
It says it doesn't seem that it'd be that dangerous, but computer chips are created with numerous hazards. Chemicals including arsenic. Let's see. I'll do like 2 more. Bush pilot.
Black people ain't doing that shit either. Well, maybe in the bush.
There we go. Bull rider.
Bull rider. We are not doing that shit.
That's white people.
That is some white
and
people
Latinos.
shit. And Latinos. Yeah. Y'all ride some motherfucking bulls.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that because we could do a whole show on our opinions on that, and they are just opinions of two middle-aged
dudes,
white and black dudes who
talking shit.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Who've had gang interactions. I've trained a lot of cops. Kid's been arrested by a lot of cops.
I've never been arrested in my entire life.
He's black. He's been arrested.
See how that works? You see that?
How many times have you been arrested?
I've ran from the cops a bunch of times.
How many times have you been arrested?
I've never been arrested. Not once.
I've been arrested.
You've been arrested?
Yes.
The white man's been arrested more than the black dude.
A couple times.
Yeah, a couple times, really?
I'm not excited about this shit. It costs me a lot of fucking money and some days in jail.
I've visited prison.
Listen, I'm going to cut you off, and I'm going to skip what we were going to talk about the MMA stuff because we can do that another time. I know. But I really wanted to get to what we were talking about in regards to the he says, she says.
Oh, it's time for he said, she said. That's my segue.
That's fucking weird.
I've been working on my segues.
Listen, we're a new show. Please give us time to develop some bit segues so we can actually have something better than that.
It's time for he said, she. Y'all like my sexy voice. Yes, you do.
No, it's fucking weird.
Oh, man.
It's weird.
All right.
Anyway, so I got a statistic. You were looking at it.
Okay, show me. What statistic are we talking about?
About women who claim that they don't like casual sex. There was an article. I'm calling it an article, and I'm being generous.
Generous.
With the term article. It was more like a fantasy piece.
I call bullshit.
Yeah. And it basically said that on the whole,
women aren't interested in casual sex.
That they want sex of a meaningful nature and for it to basically lead somewhere in order for it to be worthwhile for having.
Yeah, we know what we need, man. We need a bullshit-o-meter. Yeah. Like it detects, like it's going crazy, right? My bullshit detector is going absolutely nuts right now. Get the fuck out of here.
Now listen,
women don't want casual sex.
In all fairness,
all right, we'll be fair.
Extremely beautiful producer,
well endowed.
Yes, actually follows this train of thought. She's excessively monogamous.
Excessively monogamous.
Yes, excessively. That's like way too much fucking monogamy in your life, girl.
Yeah.
And she actually sent us this and sent it to us as like, oh, look at this is a really well-written article. And look how, yes, this is exactly how I feel. So her and apparently 2 other people.
2 other humans on Earth.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. There's 3 of them.
There are 3 of them.
Yeah. And here's my thought process on
Please expound. Please.
I think that everybody likes casual sex. Everybody, okay? And the reason why I put it like that is because the sex part is fun. It doesn't have to be attached to feelings. Now, those are personal things that you start to do over time. And some people think that if they're going to have this type of activity with somebody, then it should mean something emotional,
right?
And mental, and spiritual, because it's an event.
We're talking about brain chemistry here, aren't we? Like, isn't there a fucking hormone that your brain releases when you're fucking?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin is the cuddle fucking chemical, right? Listen. I'm gonna give these women a slight bit of credit. You know what they don't want? It's not that they don't want casual sex.
They don't want the bullshit.
They don't want the fucking walk of shame. They don't want the Uber at 3:00 in the morning. Like, get your motherfucking ass out my bed. What?
I would let him stay over.
You would let him stay over? That's so gentleman of you. See,
why?
Me on the other hand.
You want to kick him out?
No, yeah, absolutely.
I kicked one girl out.
It's like, bitch, go home.
I did. I kicked one girl out.
Like, go home. Here's the point, right? I kind of get it, like, not wanting casual sex, because I'm not a huge fan of casual sex either. Not because I don't want it. It's just because I don't want to kick that bitch out my bed.
Really?
Exactly. I don't want to kick her out. I don't want to fake like I want to have breakfast with her in the morning. Like, I get it. I totally understand why women would say they're not interested in casual sex, that they want something more meaningful. And I'm on that. I'm on board. Like, I would like to go to breakfast. I would like to go to a movie or a show or do something. Are you fucking texting in the middle of our show?
No, asshole. I'm looking for the article.
Okay, cool. Well, I would like to have something
What
more
a
me.
dick. And if I was texting,
Yeah, true.
I was probably texting that girl, I don't want breakfast with you, girl. Get the fuck out of my house.
I'm just saying, look, I get it. Like, I understand, but we're not going to sit here and act like women don't want to be touched. Like, they don't want, like, you don't have physical needs. Like, we're not, go the fuck off. No.
I think everybody wants to have sex.
Look, people want to rub their genitals together. That's kind of nature, isn't it?
Oh, now we're going to go with nature?
I'm just saying, like, realistically, women are not interested in casual sex.
Wait a minute.
I think women are not
Last show-
interested. Hold on.
Last show, we talked about poly stuff and genetic dispositions.
Look.
Now you're going to go to fucking nature?
Hold on a second.
Wow.
After that polyamorous conversation, I had all these ideas, and I was so mad that I had them later. I think we'd have to retouch on the polyamory shit again.
I want to go back to women not wanting casual sex. I know more women that want casual sex that don't.
I think women are just not honest about wanting casual sex.
Well, that's what I think.
They just want them to tell the fucking truth. Look,
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. Casual sex is awesome. I just don't want all the headache that comes along with it.
Okay, so our producer
And I'm
is shaking
somewhat of a
her
germaphobe.
head left and right, which means no, she doesn't agree. So you've never just wanted to get fucked? Ever?
Somebody I'm dating, yeah.
That's not the point. She said by somebody she's dating. I'll make it easy
Hold
for
on.
you. Just yes and no. Have you ever wanted to you're like, it's Friday night, I want to get fucked?
I want some.
That's a bold-faced lie, because if you were dating somebody, you've had that thought.
Okay, listen.
Okay, but that means you've had the thought. You've
Listen.
still had the thought.
Look, in all efforts to not to sound so misogynistic, right? So manly and just listen. The fact is, women enjoy casual sex. Also, whoever wrote that article was on some bullshit.
Let me
because
let
it
me help you
presupposes.
Let me help you reframe it.
Reframe for me, please.
Women enjoy sex.
Yes.
Okay, would you agree with that? Okay, so we all agree. Both genders
Enjoy.
no matter what your lean is,
Right.
you enjoy sex or sexual activity. Now
Right.
it's just a matter of the confines of what that is, right?
Yeah.
So it's whether it's casual or whether it's with somebody that's committed or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I
so
think-
we agree with that.
I think, but coming from you, Mr. I get paid to
beat cheeks.
pal drive these bitches. Like,
I don't
coming
do
from
pile
you.
driver. It hurts.
Oh my God.
It's an awkward position. And I've been around long enough to say no to pile driver.
Okay, all right. Hold on a second. Coming from you, someone that gets paid to put these bitches in like the camel clutch. Better.
I don't
Wrestling
put bitches
reference.
in the camel
Wrestling
clutch.
reference. You put bitches in full Nelsons for a living.
I may have done that once or twice.
All right. Coming from you, the idea of having a relationship versus having something that is purely about entertainment or purely about fun. Yeah, of course you would say, yeah, they don't really mean shit because I'm just gonna beat cheeks and no, of course.
Why'd you make me sound so fucking opie right now? Dur, 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 dur. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't sound like that.
I love you, D. I'm sorry, man. Here's the point. The point that I'm trying to make here
Fucking
is that
Stanton, calm down.
as I've grown and become a more self-actualized.
I'm leaving the studio because the level of bullshit that just rose up in here is backing up in the
Self-actualized.
toilets.
I'm learning to levitate.
Is your shoulder okay from trying to pat yourself on the back right there, bro?
I'm just saying. Listen, I understand, but to say that women don't want casual sex is just complete and utter bullshit.
I think that those women who don't want casual sex, okay, it's because of something that was ingrained in them when they were much younger about the importance of sex and how it relates to an emotional and loving and romantic relationship.
Right, that's
that you
sanctity.
should not have sex outside of those activities because, Mija, you're special.
He
Because
called her Mia.
yeah. Okay, because you're special. Okay, you should be his world. Everything should
That's
revolve
awesome.
around you. And if he doesn't do those things, then you shouldn't give it to him because he's not worth it.
No. No, some of these
She
bitches,
over there laughing
some of
because
these
she's
bitches
like,
want-
fuck, was he there for that conversation? Yes, I was.
So you mean to
and
tell
your daddy
me-
was lying to you. He was lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
And your mama just sat there and nodded her head because she was like, she'll figure the shit out on her own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then these chicks with all these sexual repressions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They finally get that dude that just puts down the work. She gets all the work, right? And
Right.
then what happens? You can't.
Then they get my name tattooed on them.
Exactly. Then you can't get rid of them bitches, right? Like,
Oh, no, I
then
get
they're
rid of
all
them.
the way, but she is all the way off the cliff. All the way off the cliff. Oh, really? Mr. Festive over here. Okay, all right. That's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. It is the season. The holiday season.
Look, I just wanted them to know that I'm for real going to be stuffing your stockings this season, okay? So don't get it twisted. Don't let the hat fuck you up.
I'm not stuffing my stocking.
Full
I'm
Nelson.
stuffing other stuff.
Hey, don't fuck around.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Do not fuck around.
Fuck these bitches. Like, hey. The point is, man, there's a little voice. You mean it's almost denying the fact that some of these bitches want their hair pulled and call some dude daddy.
What?
That's the facts.
I told you I'm getting that shirt. I love girls with daddy issues.
They want to call this dude daddy. Stop lying. Tell yourself the fucking truth. If we're just gonna be honest here, just say that you've been programmed since a child to think a certain way. Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, to be honest with you.
There's nothing
I
wrong
think
with it.
monogamy is
There's nothing wrong with it. It's a
potentially
beautiful
good
idea.
thing. I just don't think that you should negate having good old fashioned beat cheek sex.
Beat cheeks, huh? I love the alliteration.
I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
you.
Look, I mean,
That's a J Beats quote, by the way. What was you doing this weekend, bro? Beating cheeks.
listen, I agree. I kind of agree with the ladies not wanting casual sex because I'm Mr. Germaphobe. And
I feel like what happens with the casual sex is then they think that, well, if he's going to have casual sex with me, then this definitely isn't going to go somewhere else because it's casual sex. Can I get a yes or no on that? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is they think now that men are going to be compartmentalized to just that. So if you're going to come over to my house at 10 p.m. and let me get that, then why should I give you more?
Yeah, but what about the percentage of people that had sex on the first night and then they end up in wonderful relationships?
Yeah, I agree
there's
with
a huge
you.
percentage of people.
Why was that? Why was that? Look, that you don't believe that.
Listen,
that's just as believable as the fairy tale that you set yourself up for with this whole romance.
I can't believe. Listen, I know there are ladies. I know there are ladies listening to the sound of my voice, just mad right now, saying, denying the fact that they got put in a fucking full Nelson on the first night. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. And they enjoyed every minute of it.
Here's the question. What's the difference if you have sex on the first night or on the 31st night? If and most females' response is, I want to know what they're about. I want to know what their intentions are. And if they're willing to spend the time, effort, and energy to get to know me, guess what, ladies? I'll wait 30 days to fuck the shit out of you and still leave. Okay? I will do that. I am okay with that.
Man.
So one day or 31 days, if I'm a go, I'm going to go anyway. So you might as well just hit it, see if we're still sexually compatible. If we're still sexually compatible, I'm not going anywhere.
Because then life is good at that point.
Yeah.
That is some scumbag shit you just said, though. I just want
Which
you to
part?
understand.
Which part was scumbag?
I'll still wait 30 days.
You know guys that would not wait the 30 days?
No, man, but that's like kind of some bro shit that you just don't say to these bitches. Like,
but you need to say it. Should it be something that's now not said?
No, I get it. I get it. You're talking about full transparency.
Because
right? And just being 100% honest. Like, look, bitch, if you don't fuck me today and you gonna make me wait, I'll just wait it out.
But I'm not gonna. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna leave. If I'm gonna leave on day 1, I'm gonna leave on day 31. There's no difference.
See, my contention is if I'm waiting 30 days, is because there's something else I want besides sex. Like
Bullshit.
there's something else that I want. There's something else that I'm interested in.
No, it means they're just gonna rotate somebody else in to fucking take your place.
That doesn't mean that I'm not rotating other bitches while I'm not fucking this one.
Okay, so
But
here's
it
the
does
difference. I
mean-
just want everybody to see. OG transparency scumbag, fucking deep dark magic secret scumbag. Okay,
Yes.
here's the difference.
Absolutely.
I'm not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes.
No.
If you ask me, are you fucking other girls? I'm fucking one right now.
If you ask me, I'll tell you. But if you don't ask me,
Damn liar.
I'm not snitching.
You a
Not on
damn
myself.
liar.
Listen, no, listen. All honesty, if I'm waiting 30 fucking days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I'm waiting 5 years, it really depends on the trajectory.
Whoa. Who the
Yeah.
fuck said 5 years?
Because I know I have a friend, and him and his wife, they waited like 4 years.
That's a religious thing.
It is. It absolutely
Okay,
is.
see, I just guessed that's a religious
It was a faith thing. It absolutely was. And it's like, for them, it was the idea that was important, right?
I can understand that.
I mean, like, let's not say that people don't have ideas that cause them to do things and that they assign importance to. Like, that's a part of human nature. My point is, if I'm waiting, whatever the point is between point A and point B, when you take them draws off, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying, as long as I'm going to be like, look, if we're building something together and there's something more important than sex,
Hold on, what the fuck are we building if we haven't had sex yet?
Friendship, maybe?
We can do that
listen,
after
man,
sex.
Listen,
what's the difference between
that's
you?
a very-
Let me ask you a question. What's the difference between your best female friend and your girlfriend?
the
Sex.
best.
Sex.
Yeah, true.
Sex is the fucking difference.
That is right. But I mean, at the
So-
same time, hold on a second. At the same time, then what's the difference between taking this bitch out on a date and having a hooker, right? Like, if you ever watch the Boondocks,
It's
Riley
not
was
even
like,
close to the same thing.
Riley was like, I'm paying, ain't I? I'm paying. Like, listen,
Not even close to the
you
same
paying
thing.
for dinner, you paying for the movie, you paying for what? To take her panties off, son? Like,
No,
if you pay a hooker,
I'm
you get right to
talking
the
about
point A,
in-
point B. It's over.
I'm
And then
talking
you gotta
about
kick that
in
bitch out.
relation to your comment about developing a friendship.
Right. That's my point. That's what I'm talking about, developing a friendship. Because if it's really just about
Listen,
spending
if the sex
money
is
and
whack,
investing,
if the sex is whack, all we ever gonna be is friends.
true. It is kind of
Okay,
whack.
then. So what are you talking
No,
about?
it is kind of whack to wait like 30 days, just be like, yes, and then get to the sex.
Listen,
and shit sucks.
And here's just a nod for our beautiful producer. Yes or no? If you have that dude wait for 30 days, just because we've been using that number, okay, and the sex is trash, are you still going to be fucking him just because you like him? No, of course not.
That's
so
a
you
good
just
point,
fucking
D. That's a
wasted
good point.
30 days.
Find out.
You could have found that
in the
shit out
first
on
night.
the first night and kept 30 days for yourself.
True.
That's the difference.
All right.
On that note, obviously we're correct.
Yeah.
We know what the hell we're talking about.
Women don't want casual sex. It's complete bullshit.
It is semi-complete kind of bullshit for the most part,
Well,
but not really.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays.
Yeah, enjoy your holidays. Make sure you spend a lot of money in your community because it helps promote small businesses, preferably
Absolutely.
like mine.
True.
Things like that.
I'm gonna be at a small business on Monday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure that you follow us on all of our social media outlets that we have, wherever they are.
We
here.
are Facebook Live, YouTube,
iHeartRadio,
iTunes,
Spotify.
IGTV.
Okay, and share it, like it. Let us know what you guys think about the show. The segments are going to get better and better and better. The more feedback you give us, the better we can make the show.
Tell somebody to tell somebody, and hit that little heart button. It don't cost you anything. Hit the little like and little thumbs up. That shit's free. Hit that motherfucker.
No, we love it. Enjoy your holidays, guys.
Merry Christmas. Love.